Well, let's talk to Jeffrey Sachs now, the economist, public policy analyst and former senior advisor to the United Nations. Jeffrey, welcome back. Good to see you. Let's begin then with these talks in London between the United States and China. Your overview and what they say, if anything, about China-US relations at the moment.
The U.S. was desperate to get things back on track before the U.S. auto industry closed down. China has the upper hand in all of this. China sells things to the United States that the U.S. absolutely needs. This trade war launched by the United States at the beginning of Trump's second term is basically being walked back. And we can see why the United States can't win such a trade war. So today is good. It's a long way around to get back to some kind of baseline. The whole episode of recent weeks was a big cost of disruption and uncertainty. It still weighs in the world because every day U.S. policies change. They're very haphazard. They don't have a long-term fixed point. They are not strategic. And today the U.S. wanted the rare earths and the magnets, and it got them in return for making concessions the other way.
One European commentator in one of the newspapers this morning describing the London talks as, and I quote, back to square one, which I guess is better than square zero. I mean, is it back to square one? Is that a fair assessment?
The United States doesn't know what to do because, look, China's very successful. It's going to remain very successful. This goes against the American game plan of primacy, which is an anachronistic idea that the U.S. runs the show. The Americans can't quite get it out of their heads that they don't run the show anymore. It's not that China runs the show, it's that we're in a multipolar world. And so we are still having these eruptions where America is trying to show how tough it is, how strong it is, how indispensable it is, but it ain't. So this is why we are back to square one in this sense. We're not at the end of the story. The U.S. is not stable right now in its governance, in its strategy, and its view towards China remains in the political circles hostile, which means that there is still unpredictability ahead.
The mood music, all those handshakes, I mean, it all looks positive, doesn't it? But I guess they did back in 2018, 2019, when apparently constructive, face-to-face, in-person meetings seemed to then unwind as those negotiating teams returned to their respective capitals. Is there a danger of history repeating itself? Is there a danger of that happening this time?
There is, because the anti-China sentiment in Washington is both irrational and quite real. And so we have an instability that results from that. America's self-image is an anachronism. I'm talking about the image of American power held among the Washington elites. Donald Trump went into this trade war thinking he'd bring the other side down to its knees. It didn't happen. Instead, the auto industry almost came to a halt. So we are back to square one, but we're not at the end of the story simply because the United States is flailing around. There is not a long-term strategy right now. And because of that, we can expect more eruptions in the future.
Jeffrey, we'll get you back on to talk about those in coming weeks and months. For the moment, thank you. Jeffrey Sachs, the economist and public policy analyst and former senior advisor to the United Nations.